You know, we've talked a lot, though, about the lessons that this movie has learned from BVS and maybe lessons it's learned from other movies and how they're trying to change the dialogue. But I want to, like, sort of look big picture and just say it's pretty rare that that press are invited to a movie set and then encouraged days later, put up your thoughts. And what do you think about Warner Brothers' decision to do this? Do you think that this sort of different way of putting out set visit reports and talking about your experience is something that other movie studios should take lessons from?
I think it all depends on the movie. Warner Brothers has always been way late on their, we're under a thing called embargo, which is you cannot run anything that you find out about it, even on social media.
Or necessarily even say that you're there.
Say. Yeah. You know, and so in this case, for a movie this big with so much writing on it, this close to Comic-Con, to be like knowing going in that by Monday or Tuesday you're going to be able to run everything you know, there were no strings attached on what we could say and not say, that is rare. I think they need to change the tenor of the conversation about the DCEU, and it is DCEU, before Comic-Con, because if they bring Suicide Squad there and they have Suicide Squad coming out, you know, they have DC Films now with Jeff Johns and John Berg, like they want to control their narrative, and I think they want to get all these questions out of the way before they show up at Comic-Con and read the temperature of the online room and see, do we have something or not? Do we bother going to Comic-Con with this? Do we just send Suicide Squad? Like there are a lot of things, and I think it is good. For example, I did a Suicide Squad set visit last August.
You still haven't put out.
It's almost July, and they haven't told me when I can run anything.
Right.
And it better not be the week of Comic-Con, because you're not going to get it then.
Or the
so
week
I'll be busy.
before it comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, think about it. At this point, all the interviews for other movies, for talk shows, for industry events, people are asked about these movies. They're pretty much telling you everything. So by the time you run a set visit report, there's a reason why not a lot of people are that interested in reading it. But this, when the movie is just 30 days into filming, and BVS hasn't even come out in home video yet, it's unprecedented. There were at least 40 journalists there, which is something, I think the most I've been on a trip is 10 to 15. So we're talking a full busload of people. And it made it could have been really a disaster. I have to give props to the unit publicist. She ran a tight ship, got us everything we needed, and we weren't there like, you know, too long. We were only there about 6 hours, so that's, all things considered, really great.
Usually these are a nightmare, and then you're there for like 14 hours,
and you might not even get anything
for
good.
10 hours waiting for someone to have like a 5-minute break.
Yeah, you could be there till 4 in the morning and still not have gotten anything.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's happened. And so, yeah, so in terms of set visits, this was definitely one of the better ones I did. And
so you think that it is
like
good,
I got what I needed out of it.
Damage control, though, and something.
I think there's, yeah, I mean, it's all part of the greater DC Films course correction, which we've talked about here on Keeping It Real before. I think they want control of their narrative. Zach, they wanted people to think the people who are making this movie are still in charge. So the two producers, Deborah Snyder and Charles Rubin, who we've been told were essentially kicked to the curb, were both there and talking to us. Zack Snyder was there and talking to us. He even joined us for a champagne at the end of the day.
Oh, wow.
You always have to be mindful of these things, because you're like, okay, you know, I'm pretty hard-bitten, maybe even a little cynical at this point. So I see through a lot of these things. But what I will say ultimately is this. It looked like a better movie. It looked more fun. I can't wait to see more of The Flash. I liked his chemistry with Bruce Wayne and Batman. But is the story a mess?
Right.
They always show you the best stuff on a set visit.
Yeah, all those pieces can sound great on paper,
Green
but
Lantern
will they come
looked
together?
cool on set, I'll tell you that. We all know how that ship sailed.
Right.
You know?
Green Lantern in his movie, not Green Lantern in this movie.
No, no
For
Green
a second,
Lantern
I was
in
like,
this.
dang,
They're
sir,
like,
you saw
just
Green
let out
Lantern?
some. No, but we did see Jason Momoa and some low-waist skinny jeans.
Well, we all want to see
He's
Jason Momoa in
bare-chested
low-waist.
except for skinny jeans and his gauntlets. He looked like a cross between a surfer and a biker dude. And people are like, oh, that's stupid. Look at Aquaman and his bare-chested and jeans. I'm like, oh, like Thor? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, Zack Snyder, for all the complaints he might get leveled against him, at least tends to make a very pretty movie. So Jim, you just unloaded a lot of information on everyone. You learned a lot of information, and you said you were a bit convinced that they did learn these lessons and that it might at least be a better movie.
They did.
We want to know what you guys think, though. Did Jim convince you with all the details he shared? Make sure to let us know.
Zack Snyder's job, but I'm trying.